Hi, I'm Deborah Dahab, expat coach and intercultural psychologist. I'm here today to talk about expat burnout. So, if you're an expat or if you have been for a while, chances are you have felt exhausted, not knowing what to do, overwhelmed, frustrated from not being able to do things, and ultimately exhausted, tired, tired, tired. That's all is in your mind is tired. So, how do we know the difference between expat burnout and cultural shock symptoms? Which there's another video that I will put the link up there. Well, cultural shock symptoms are specific to more or less the first phases or the first times when you're still like in shock. The expat burnout can happen anytime during your cultural transition, during the phases. And it can be triggered by something as simple as an interaction with a local that didn't go as expected, to frustrations that build up in the workplace because you feel you don't communicate properly. So, usually, symptoms of cultural shock are more limited in time, and expat burnout, or like you feel it throughout longer. And but one can build up onto the other. Like you can get expat burnout from the cultural shock phase. um, More importantly, that knowing when it can happen is knowing it probably will happen, and what to do about it, right? um, First of all, I would say that one of the most important things that you should do when you start feeling this exhaustion, this feeling of overwhelm, I cannot deal with everything, I just want to leave everything and go home. When you get that feeling, is first of all, remember your purpose. Remember your what for. What did you move for? What did you want to accomplish? And having that in mind and having that clear in your mind, you will be able to go back to that good place of, yes, okay, I know this is hard, this is difficult, but I do have a goal. I have a goal to accomplish. So that would be the first step. And the second thing that I would suggest if you're going through expat burnout is to practice self care. And this is kind of a cliche, I know, but it's really true. But one thing that I would like for you to think about is, what is your self care, right? So it can mean different things for different people. Some of my clients tell me that self care can be as simple as, going to a cafe or a bookshop that has books in their language, and being able to sit there for an hour, 2 hours every week, and just enjoy the silence and being with themselves in an environment that other people speak their language. It can also be things related. Some people like to recharge in nature, going to the beach, taking walks on the beach, or going to parks. Some people like hiking and more adrenaline build activities. A lot of people vouch on jogging and running for the endorphins. I particularly like yoga. For me, it's my go to self care. Some people do meditation. Some people pick up meditation at this phase because it helps them get centered. It can also be, a manicure, a pedicure, just pampering yourself. There's the cliche at having a day at the spa. Why not? If you can do that, and if it's something that you want to do. So there's really not a rule for self-care. It's just whatever makes you tick, whatever makes you happy. Drawing, painting, music. People who play an instrument really sometimes miss that time with themselves, learning a new song. So it's important to make time for that and schedule your self-care. Put that on your calendar, put that on your schedule. have that 1 hour a week or every other day or whatever you can fit, and make it happen. So that's really important. Another thing that I like to remind people going through expat burnout is everything that you do when you're an expat takes longer and takes more energy. I would say that almost everything. For me, it's everything. But anyway, when you're starting, especially when you're starting to get the gist of things, and you end up sometimes not knowing what a certain word means, and then you have to go back and look it up, or you're not sure how to interact, or you have to get more information and you don't know how to do it. So making decisions and going about your day in general as an expat takes a lot more energy, and it can build up over time and make you feel really drained. So remember that, and be kind to yourself, because you're not in your comfort zone. Even for long-time expats, people who have lived in countries for more than a decade, they still find themselves many times spending more time to be able to, negotiate something or make a decision on something or get information on something. So be kind to yourself, not only with the self-care, but with the expectations of your level of achievements and your level of productivity. The fourth thing that I would suggest is that it's important to create routines. It's important to have established, you know what's going to happen. Some people are more structured than others. Some people need this more than others. But it can be helpful to know what's going to happen during that day. So it's less likely you're going to get overwhelmed with distractions and stuff. So that's a recommendation for productivity in general and for burnout in general, and especially for expat burnout, because it really helps to feel like you're a little bit in control of what's going to happen with your day, if possible. And finally, the last tip I'm going to give you is actually an exercise I do with my clients. And I'm going to suggest you do that. It's pretty simple, but quite powerful. So take out a pen and paper and turn off all distractions, Facebook, for 10 minutes, just 10 minutes, not more than that. Turn off your email, turn off your phone, just focus on this for a minute. Write down on a sheet of paper, put a line in the middle. You're going to have 2 columns. On the first column, on the left column, you're going to write everything, or 10 things that you have to do. It's kind of like a to-do list, okay? I have to do the laundry. I have to cook dinner. I have to answer emails. I have to get the pet to the vet. I have to find a new pediatrician for my child. I have to record new videos. I have to, and blah, blah, go on. Then you're going to look at that, and then you're going to, on the other column that's blank, which will be on your right, you're going to write down for each I have to, what is the benefit? So imagine if, for example, I have to cook dinner. What is the benefit? Nutrition, me and my family, or just me if it's the case. Eat properly. And then you're going to think about if that action, if that to do can be delegated or not. So in other words, do you have to do that, or at least do you have to do that all the time? So in the example of cooking, yes, it's nutritious. I want my family and myself to have a nutritious meal. Do I have to do that all the time? Well, probably not. probably once or twice a week we could eat out or order in, or I could ask the rest of the family to help out in the cooking. So when you think about the benefit, and if it's really you, the only one that can do that, you start looking for solutions. And one of the solutions can be, having a pizza night once a week, so it's not on you. Or hiring someone to cook your food. And that goes, for example, for housework, for cleaning the house. And that goes for example, even the professional realm, answering emails. Do you have to do that? Or, for example, is there a certain amount of questions or things that are pretty common or pretty frequent, and that you could hire someone to do that for an hour or for 2 hours? So this is an exercise. So you can, during 10-15 minutes, focus on what you have to do, what is the benefit you gain from that action, and if that is necessarily in your hands or not. And you will find that many things, some other people can do that for you, and it's not necessarily expensive. You could ask other people in the family to help you out with chores. You can go online to find, the vet for your pet, and you don't have to actually go somewhere and talk to the vet. You can call, for example. So I'm just giving you some random examples to make you see that sometimes we're so set in our ways, in our things that we have to do, and that we think we have to do them, that sometimes there are other solutions that we're not looking at. Doing this exercise alone is very powerful. Doing it with a coach or with someone who can hold you accountable is 10 times as powerful as doing it alone, because the other person or the coach can ask you questions that you might not ask yourself. So I hope this exercise and this tip was useful for you. I hope you do it, and I would love to see how it goes, to hear about your experience. So subscribe for the channel, and I'll see you soon.